Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Talking Wrestling TXN. It is Good Meth Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. We are hoping to get the arrival of Michael Bullock, but guys, we're just gonna dive right on in. We're gonna talk about last night's SummerSlam, the hottest night of the summer, from Nissan Stadium in uh, in Nashville, Tennessee, home of the Tennessee Titans. Uh, and here we guys go. So we started it off with the first fight of the night, which was Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair successfully defends the title, winning the match in 15 minutes and 10 seconds. A very good opener for SummerSlam, a very good match. Easily, you can call it one of the top fights of the evening, and it got a lot of time. Incredible match, um, and it served its purpose. It actually did really well here. At the end of the day, the you can say the right outcome was there, that to have Bianca successfully defend the title, and at the end, Becky and Bianca looking at each other face to face, eye to eye. There was a handshake, there was a little bit of a hug. And while Bianca was celebrating, all of a sudden, a music hit that we have not heard in over a year. Bayley makes her return. She's heading to Monday Night Raw, but she is not coming alone. Dakota Kai then makes her arrival. And yes, guys, Dakota Kai was fired by WWE, is apparently now back in the company. And then Io Shirai came out, and we were like, wait just a minute, what is this? Do we have ourselves a trio stable for Monday Night Raw? Is this the NXT version of Toxic Attraction? Bayley, Io, and Dakota? Well, apparently, yes. And they circled the wagons and they got in the ring. Unfortunately for Bianca, she was out number 3-on-1 until Becky Lynch rolled back into the ring. And boy, she looked like she was ready to fight. So the fans got into this. This was a crazy segment, to say the very least. 3.5 stars for the opening match. But now, Bayley, Dakota, and Io against Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and who knows who the third's gonna be, but they're setting this up really nicely. We don't know the capacity of Bayley just yet. We don't know if she's back in ring or if she's just going to be a manager and have Io and Dakota fight. We don't know what's going on because they never really threw the hand out there. So we don't know the full scope of it. But Anthony Florio, oh my word. The first 30 minutes of this SummerSlam had the internet buzzing from the match between the women to the shocking return of Bayley, then to get Dakota back after being fired, and then Io Shirai literally going from, I believe, Monday Night from SmackDown to Raw. Man, Triple H, you're wildin'.
and I got something to say about that in just a moment. But let me just start with the match here. With all due respect, MF, I think you underscored it a little bit. This was a 4-star match. The match was physical from the first bell and stayed competitive the whole time. Both women were looking to make sure they kicked the show off with one of the best matches of the night. They fought in and out of the ring, used almost anything they could to inflict damage without risking a disqualification. The steps, ring posts, and barricades all came into play, We saw several creative spots to help make this feel completely different from their other encounters. EST able to secure the win with the Spanish Fly, followed by the KOD for the win to cap off a fantastic opener. And then surprisingly, Becky Lynch offers her hand as a show of respect, and they hug to a nice reaction from the crowd. And then Bayley makes her surprising return as Bianca celebrated her win in the ring. And this was immediately followed by Dakota Kai and Io Sky, who they're now calling Io Shirai, joining her in the aisle. Becky stood side by side with Belair. No physical altercation. This was all done so very, very well. And wow. And I'll tell you right now, MF, Michael Bullock and I, Bullock wanted to do the Facebook video messenger chat thing, and you couldn't do it because you had your commitments. But he reached out to me, and I'm like, you know what, let's do it. And we did it. We did the Facebook video messenger chat for this last night, and oh boy, when Bayley showed up, oh my goodness, we both lost our minds, and then we lost our minds even more when Dakota and Io showed up. Oh my word. And I kept saying to myself, thank you, Triple H, thank you, Triple H, thank you, Triple H. That's all I was saying. And now, MF, I'm just gonna say it like this. Business has picked up tenfold in the women's division of Monday Night Raw. And quite frankly, I'm excited. I mean, this is the most stacked I have seen the women's division on Monday Night Raw in probably 15 to 20 years. The last time Monday Night Raw had a women's division this stacked, and we know this very well, Matt. This was back in the days when we were doing Raw chats and all that. Back in the days of Trish and Lita and Molly Holly, Gail Kim, Victoria, Jacqueline, Jazz, and Stacy Keibler, and all these great women from the Ruthless Aggression era in the first brand extension. That's the last time I can remember a women's division this stacked on Raw. And those 5 alone are going to carry that division to new heights we haven't seen since 2005, 6, what have you. And all I can say is I'm excited, man. I mean, you got a solid women's division on SmackDown yourself, MF. But for me, as a Raw guy, I mean, my heart is so full of excitement right now thinking about the possibilities to come out of this. And yes, the big question is Bayley. I mean, what's going to happen with her now? I mean, is she medically cleared? What are they going to do with her? Are they going to take it easy with her? I don't know. But to put the match to bed here, some final thoughts on the match. Becky Lynch's technical ability is not talked about enough. She does so many little things perfectly. Even something like a wrist lock looks a little smoother when it's her doing it. And the way Becky tried to put Bianca into position so she could pull her into the ring post by her braid was a bit awkward, but not egregiously bad. And watching Belair catch Lynch coming off the top rope and just stand back up while holding her was an impressive display of power. And that Spanish Fly Belair hit from the middle rope was amazing and awesome. And that's really all there is to say on that. So this was a 4-star match, a great way to start it off. And MF, all I can say is, that Raw Women's Division business has just picked up tenfold.
It's probably now become the deepest Raw division, like you said, in about 10 to 15 years.
Right.
And on top of that, some people are now saying that WWE has reclaimed the best women's division in all of professional wrestling. With the additions of Io, with the additions of Dakota, and the addition of Bayley now back on the roster and in the fold, some people went out and said that it's now better than the AEW women's division.
Oh, hands down.
Now, that is a debate that can be held on another day. That could be prisoner of the moment.
Yeah.
But because this was from the internet, this is IWC, and This was immediately after what happened. But now a day has settled. Now we got to wait to see how this plays out on Monday night on Raw. Because now we got something to look forward to for Monday Night Raw. Because this will be front and center. One of the front and center talking points for Raw is the inclusion of these ladies and what's going to happen next, especially to Bianca. And where does Becky go? There's rumors going around. We actually might get the man back.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Big time Bex might be done. The face turn might lead us to possibly the return of the man, Becky Lynch.
Oh. That happens.
I caught you flat-footed. I caught you flat-footed there, Florio.
If that happens, they bring the man back. Oh. That's it. That's it. It's done. It's over.
Yeah.
Raw Women's Division. MF, your SmackDown women couldn't beat them on their worst day.
Well, hold on. We don't have all of our. We don't have all of our full arsenal yet. Because if Naomi comes back, if Sasha comes back, and they go back to SmackDown,
which could happen
now
that Vince is gone,
and especially Charlotte Flair.
Oh boy.
Oh no. We could
right
have a crew that would be just as formidable as Monday Night Raw.
Wait till Survivor Series.
Get them back, and then on top of that,
wait till Survivor Series.
We haven't even talked about some of the women from NXT yet. Where do they go?
Could we get some call-ups possibly as early as tomorrow night in Houston?
Maybe, because now that Trips is running the thing.
Thank God.
He's going to want to do it. So hold on. Let's wait. And with all these rumors about other people who are free agents that's wanting to come to WWE now, I'm telling you right now, WWE is in a lot better position than they were about a week and a half ago.
Oh, yeah.
They are in a stronger position than they were about a week ago. So, we'll see. Next up on the fight card was Logan Paul versus The Miz. Logan Paul wins the match in 14 minutes and 15 seconds. Anthony, you lead off on this.
Sleeper fight of the night, MF, no doubt. Obviously, you think going in, Bullock and I, we thought when we heard that this match was next, we were like, oh, perfect cool down fight. This will easily cool down the crowd after that red hot open with the women. But no, these two actually ended up putting on a much more entertaining and better match than we thought. And with that, I'm going to give this a rating I didn't think I was going to give this. I'm going to give this between 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. I mean, wow. It felt like the YouTuber was trying his best to show off the fact that he has been training for more work in the ring, and to his credit, the work has paid off. And several things he did look great for somebody with so little experience. The story of the bout was Miz trying to use his veteran experience to control his inexperienced opponent, but he also relied on Ciampa to lend a hand when the ref was distracted. And it's always hard to tell if a stadium crowd is into something because the noise escapes through the open roof. But it seemed like both men got some good reactions at certain spots. The fact that this is only Logan Paul's second actual match proved he has been putting in the work to make sure he exceeded expectations. The social media star gets the win by hitting The Miz with his own skull-crushing finale. He beat Miz with his own move.
Yes, he did.
Unreal. And this was better than anyone expected it to be, and likely changed a few opinions about Logan Paul in the process. Now, I don't like him, and I don't like what he stands for. However, he earned my respect. I don't like him, but I respect him. That's all I'm going to say on that. And His celebrity performance, I would say maybe the second best I've seen. I still think Bad Bunny was a little better. I mean, the match that when it was Bad Bunny and Damian Priest against Miz and Morrison at WrestleMania 37, I mean, they had the sleeper fight of the night. We didn't think that match was going to be any good. But Bad Bunny put in the work, and they ended up having the sleeper fight of the night on that night. Couple quick observations. Logan Paul leaping over the top rope and hitting a moonsault to the floor was a nice surprise. And seeing Logan Paul dive off the top turnbuckle to put the Miz through the announce table, a la Shane O'Mac, was not something anybody expected when this match began. Not even me. Not even you. Not even anybody watching. Bullock and I, during our Facebook video messenger chat last night, we even had our jaws on the floor. We were like, he did what? We channeled our inner Al Michaels. We channeled our inner Al Michaels from that Monday Night Football game with the Vikings and the Packers, the Antonio Freeman moment in 2000. He did what? And he did. Unbelievable. So 3.5, 3 3/4, sleeper fight of the night. And, we're going to have to wait and see what's next. So not much more to say. MF, I'm sure you had the same sentiments I did. You didn't think the match was going to be anything special, but wow. Logan Paul put in the work just like Bad Bunny did.
3.5 stars. Logan Paul is a showman. And the thing is that no matter if you loved him or you hated him, he's going to put the work in because he doesn't want to let anybody down, let himself down, or make himself look like a joke. And just like with Bad Bunny, they do months of training and everything else, and they were putting it in the performance center. And, I always hear the story about how Logan Paul and his brother, Jake Paul, and how they're destroying boxing as we know it. Or how, that WWE should have strayed it away from Logan Paul from even coming close to the WWE ring. But when you put performances like you just did, first at WrestleMania, and now, especially last night, one-on-one against The Miz, on your own, in front of over 48,000, well, allegedly 48,000, we're hearing now 41,000, but to do it in front of 41,000 at Nissan, that's impressive. And it was eye-opening. There were moments in that match where I'll admit it, when he did that frog splash off the top through that announce table, I was like, oh my freaking God. And it was incredible. Logan Paul earned the respect of the WWE fans, and he won some IWC fans as well. Now, he's not going to win them all. He's not going to win everybody. There's going to be some haters out there, and they're going to criticize it and whatnot. But the fact that he did it gave us a decent match, and actually was out there for, to be out there for almost 15 minutes, maybe even longer than he should have been out there. Well done. That's all I say. And the perfect guy to lose the match was The Miz. He'll never lose any momentum. We all know that. I remember you referenced that on Friday during our preview for SummerSlam, that this would have been fine. And it was a lot better than we expected. So, hats off. Next up we had was Bobby Lashley versus Theory for the United States Championship. Lashley wins it in 4:45. This was exactly what it needed it to be. This was early in the night, early enough, wasn't a long match, because you obviously were thinking, all right, Theory most likely is going to try to cash in the Money in the Bank on the main event. So it was a serviceable job that they needed it to do. Exactly what it needed it to be. It was fine. It was good. They told a decent story. I'll give this about 2 to 2.25. That's my rating for the match because of the fact that the outcome was never in doubt. We knew Lashley was going to win. The way he won it was perfect, and the way that they ended the match was even perfect as well. Theory immediately tapping out, protecting himself for what could be a bigger and better moment later in the night. So, this was exactly what it needed to be. Logical booking, logical storytelling, and it also set it up for what was going to be something later in the night. This was actually better than anything that they needed it to do. So even in for the time that it was, the shortness of the match, I'm not even gonna criticize that because I knew this was not going to be long. I knew they had something planned for Theory to try to cash in later in the night because they've been hyping it the whole night. They've been hyping it for weeks that, with Brock, with Roman being tired, exhausted, and through the pain that they're going to go through in the last man standing, that this would be the perfect opportunity for Theory to try to cash it in. So they did it correct. They did it flawless. Anthony Florio, I could not think of a better match. Perfect cooldown fight. And on top of that, the story was logical. It made sense. Unlike any of the other stuff that we used to see in WWE, this actually made sense and actually was done perfectly. They could not go wrong. Even this being possibly the worst fight of the night, it actually worked.
No, this was not the worst fight of the night. It was the second worst fight of the night. There was one that I thought was worse, to be honest with you. I will give this 2.25 to 2.5. Because it was a solid performance from two men who are known for their athleticism, but it didn't feel much different from what we might have seen on any given episode of Raw. Lashley got the win with the Hurt Lock to retain the United States Heavyweight Championship. And Lashley was selling the shots from the briefcase a lot, maybe a little too much. And it will never get old watching the almighty power guys into the air with one arm before slamming them to the mat. And Theory's rolling dropkick is one of his best moves. So I'll give this 2.25 to 2.5. Second worst fight of the night. There was one that was worse. You might know where I'm going with it. So that's all I'm going to say on that. So with that, MF, coming up, just want to check the. We had one more. We have one more Raw match, another Raw match here, but it was a big one. No disqualification, tag team action, and business has picked up in this feud.
Yeah, indeed. It was the Mysterios versus the Judgment Day. Mysterios wins the match in 11 minutes and 5 seconds because Edge returns. Oof. Edge came back and upended the Judgment Day, getting a little piece of revenge after they systematically destroyed them and kicked them out the group by making Finn Balor the new leader of the trio. Well, let's just say Edge came back fire ablaze last night at Nissan Stadium. Anthony, it's yours.
I can only give this about 3.25 for this. For some reason, this was still worked with tags in and out instead of being a wild tornado style match. And it made you forget about the no disqualification stipulation at times. This bout had the kind of spots you would expect with 3 high flyers and a powerhouse. So it was a fun romp, even if the way it was structured didn't make much sense. Once they stopped caring about tags, they were able to make this more interesting. Edge returning in the middle of the match and took out Balor and Priest, helping the Mysterios get the win. Most of the match was fine, but it felt like the Judgment Day needed this win more than their opponents. But the feud with Edge could have been set up after it was over. And I think we all know where this might be leading to in just a moment. Ray's wheelbarrow bulldog is almost always great, and the sliding splash with a chair from the master of the 619 was a cool spot. And now you let the speculation begin, and here's a dream match for you. If they decide to do it, how about Edge versus Finn Balor in Cardiff at Clash at the Castle?
I could see it. I
I would
could
love
see
to see
that. Absolutely.
you put those there. That's a show. That's a show stealer right there. That's got show stealer potential easily because
The
of the body of
one
work.
problem I got is because I know Finn is normally the heel in this. I don't know, man. We're talking euros. That's a little bit of a different animal. I think Balor might get a hero's welcome uh, at Cardiff because that is almost he's going to literally be close to his own backyard.
Exactly. So, and we know how crazy those Euros get.
Oh yeah.
Night after WrestleMania Raws, anyone? It's a simple.
I can't wait for them to come back for LA when they come for WrestleMania weekend. They're gonna be nuts.
Oh, WrestleMania 39, SoFi.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then after that, we're going to Philly 40. They just announced it.
Lincoln Financial Field. Wow.
You know what? A couple of my friends are already talking about going. I'm thinking, you're willing to do a road trip? Go to the Link Mania 40. There's a few guys that wants to do it.
Road, yeah, oh yeah, and we can do our funny little bit we always used to do. Road trip. Yeah, you know that funny bit.
You stop.
Hell, we always used to do back in the day.
But, will you stop, you knuckleheads?
Yeah, we got it from an episode of one of our old favorite teen sitcoms, Hang Time, back in the day, and they're the ones who originated it, and we perfected it. So, but all kidding aside, it's a 3 to 3 1/4, and I think it's going to be Edge and Balor in Cardiff. That's just how I feel. So, or unless the Judgment Day can find another guy and they make it a 6-man with the Mysterios, but we'll have to wait and see. But this was 3 to 3 1/4. Somewhat disappointing, but it was still a good because they promoted it as an ODQ match. It should have been the Wild Tornado style match all along. They never should have done the tags in and out. I did not like that. That was my only criticism of it. But other than that, fine for what it was. 3 1/4. And MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, I could go about 2 3/4 because of that. And the tagging in and out, yeah, I totally agree with it. I kind of felt like this could have also been lucha libre style rules. The minute you go out of the ring, your partner can immediately jump in, and that could have kept the flow of the match going. And I kind of felt like that's where they were going at one point. Because at that point the referee kind of lost control of the match, and I just felt like, yeah, you're absolutely right. They should have done it that way, but it is what it is. It was fun for what it was worth. So next up we had was Pat McAfee versus Happy Corbin. Pat McAfee wins the match in 10 minutes and 40 seconds. All right, McAfee was not as clean or as sharp as he was at WrestleMania. I don't know. He had an issue with the ropes. Like, there was 2 moments in that ropes where he looked like he was about to lose it. I got a little concerned for Pat. I was like, maybe it's because he was in an outdoor stadium. I think the humidity and because there was a lot of moisture in at Nissan Stadium. There was talk about rain. I think it rained after the show went off the air. Like a couple of hours later, it started raining. So yeah, there was. You could tell. He made it look good. He made it look perfect. He made it look as good as he could. But there was a couple of moments where you're like, "Whoa, Pat, relax, bro, easy." But he put out a great performance. It was formulaic. They gave him the win. Yes, he cheated. He knocked him below the belt after Charles Robinson got knocked. Corbin hit Robinson by mistake. Robinson went down just briefly, kind of got shooken up, and McAfee basically classic punter went right to the 5-hole, hits Corbin. Instant Anthony Floyo freak out moment. He's cheating. I could hear Floyo.
This is an atrocity. What is the purpose of this?
Yep, here it goes. That's what I was expecting. Of course, me hitting it for the brand. McAfee wins yet again. And actually, Pat McAfee said about in the interview, he's now 2-0 in sanctioned WWE matches. He's even trying to bypass that match between him and McMahon should not have counted. He's actually 2-0 now. So yeah, all right, Pat, I'll give you that. 2-0 on the main roster. I'll give you that win. I'll give you the victory on that. Like I said, it looked better than everything else. And I think what he was attempting to do was he wasn't trying to go for the co-red. I think he was trying to do the Panama Sunrise, which is the finisher of Adam Cole. He just didn't get the right.
It was botched.
The move didn't go right. Yeah,
it was botched.
It was botched. I will admit that, but because I think he was trying to go for the Panama Sunrise or the quote unquote Canadian Destroyer, to try to just because we even a couple of my buddies, we were watching this briefly before I had to head off to bed, and I was like, oh, is he going for it? Is he going to try to rip off? Is he going to try to stick it to Cole? So there was a lot of callbacks from his first fight with Adam Cole. Of course, the fans are into it. Pat's so over with the WWE Universe now. The only thing I'm a little peeved about, I need to get warmed up to his new theme song because I don't really like it right now. I kind of felt like they should have gone with the Seven Nation Army. The crowd would have been hyped. You would have had the crowd going crazy. Even though this new song, you still get the, it just, I don't know. I'm not sold on it, Anthony. I think that's the best way to say it. This was a 3-star bout. This was fine because McAfee won the match in about, let me see. McAfee won the match in 10 minutes and 40 seconds. So it was good. It was solid. And I give credit to Corbin for giving McAfee a passable match as well. So it's yours.
I'll give this 2.5 to 3. All right. I agree with you about the Seven Nation Army thing. I mean, that gave me the goosies when he came out to that at Mania. Then again, we all did, but nobody was more amped up at that moment than you were, I bet, because we all know you are the biggest Pat McAfee mark there is. I mean, it's well documented. You watch his you listen to it, you listen and watch his show every day. I mean, you're a dedicated Pat McAfee fan, the whole For the Brand, SmackDown, and all that. And what about before the match when he had this what looked like a all men's choir singing "Bum Ass Corbin"? Oh, that was vintage Pat McAfee, right?
That's McAfee for you.
Yeah, and the bout was taken out of the ring within a minute, so they were not going for a typical match. They were trying to make this look like a fight. And while this didn't reach the level of excitement of McAfee's match with Theory at WrestleMania, it was another solid entry into the former NFL punter's lineup of performances thus far. Corbin also did a great job taking care of his opponent while also making him look good. And after the ref was taken out for a moment, McAfee hit the low blow, followed by a sunset flip for the win. Now, you don't have to like Corbin to admit he is great at his job. He does whatever WWE asks of him and puts his full effort into it. That's why he keeps being featured so heavily. McAfee's Hurricanrana looked way better than expected. McAfee backflipping off the top rope only to take a drop kick from Corbin was a nice sequence. The senton bomb McAfee hit from the top rope to the floor could have ended in disaster, but he and Corbin saved it. Oh yeah, that Santini Bombini or whatever you called it.
Yeah, Swantani Bombini.
Swantani Bombini. Yeah, I told that. I told Bullock that, and he was like, the what? And I'm like, yeah.
I would have done it on I would have done it on commentary during the match.
No, you did it. I remember you did it.
Yep, I would.
And then when you said it, funny commentary moment here, friends. Funny commentary moment here. MF says it, the Swantini Bombini, and then I'm like, what? And then like Bobby Heenan with the Iron Sheik at the Hall of Fame ceremony in 05. I was like, what the hell did you just say?
Yes.
And then you reaffirmed it, and I'm like, oh.
And actually, and then I doubled down on it by saying that I was like, that's for all the gabagools out there, man. You should know that. And
like, no, I don't know that. Yeah. But it was the way you said it. You said Swatini Babidi, and then I'm like, what the hell did you just say? Yeah.
What? That's for all the gabagools out there. Come on, Florio, you should know that.
No, I don't know that. Oh, perfect Gorilla Jesse moment right there.
Yeah.
Because we bring the old school to the majors commentary.
Yes.
For the Big Four, not just SummerSlam. We do it for the Survivor Series. We do it for the Royal Rumble. We do it for WrestleMania. We bring that Gorilla and Jesse vibe to all of it. So, regardless of what the match is. But once again, all kidding aside, it was 2.5 to 3 stars. I mean, there was a botch there at the end, but at least the right guy won. McAfee getting the win, and we'll see. And he's probably gonna gloat all about it come Friday night on SmackDown. So.
Oh yeah. Now the question is, when is the next time we get to see him in the ring?
That's a great question.
Because this won't be every month. This won't be every time out. There will be times where he'll wrestle, but they won't let him. That's the question I want to know is, when is the next time he's going to be in the ring? Could it be Boston Survivor Series?
Thanksgiving weekend? Very possible.
Maybe.
Possibly as a member of Team SmackDown?
I don't know if they're going to do Team SmackDown. I could see him get a one-on-one. Somebody challenges them, calls them out. Somebody gets annoyed.
Corey Graves.
Huh?
Corey Graves.
Oh, did you see how he told him he gave him the DX crotch chop on him at the end?
And then Graves just
through the pencil, like, what the hell?
And then had a little fist bump high five with Michael Cole there. So.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe
that could work.
Did Graves? Now the rumor is going around is that Graves has been working out. And he has not been medically cleared yet, but they are talking about maybe Graves someday coming back to the ring. Graves versus McAfee? Ooh.
How about that at Survivor Series?
Now that could be interesting.
Raw versus SmackDown.
It would be Raw versus SmackDown. The battle of the who knows? That could.
That's what I could see.
That could be interesting.
That would be a perfect time to do it. So,
because Graves is not going to be. Graves is going to say something about the disrespect of Pat McAfee, and especially how he got disrespected at SummerSlam by him doing that chop.
Yep. So we're just gonna have to wait and find out.
We'll wait and find out. Yeah.
So 2.5 to 3 for me, and then now the next match on the card.
Oh boy!
It is a match that had very high expectations to live up to after the almost 5-star they had at Money in the Bank. The question was, could the sequel top the original? Let's find out.
Yeah, it is. It is the Usos versus the Street Profits special guest referee Jeff Jarrett for the WWE Tag Team Championships. The winners in 13-25, and still the Tag Team Champions of the world, the Usos. Florio, it is yours.
Oh man, I'm sorry. This was the disappointment of the night. I got to be honest with you. Still a good match, yes, but it was nowhere as close. It was not. The first several minutes had a much slower pace than expected. Usos spent a lot of time showboating, but you could tell they were saving their energy for what was to come. And then once Montez Ford tagged in, business started to pick up. We saw bigger spots from both teams as the energy continued to rise. All four guys delivered another fantastic match. We may have seen this bout too many times, but it's hard to be bored when they keep producing memorable moments together. The Usos were able to take out Ford by throwing him into the crowd, and then they finished off Dawkins with their finisher for the win. A lot of people wanted the Profits to win here, especially Michael Bullock, but the overall performance was strong. Now, nowhere as good. The sequel did not top the original. I can only give this 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. The Profits' entrance was awesome, made them feel like a big deal. Dawkins jumping in Seguri was great. Montez Ford is so agile that he has to try not to jump too high sometimes. He almost went right over Jey Uso when he hit a flying cross body. And then Dawkins hitting Jimmy with a pounce that sent him flying back into Ford's arms for a suplex was awesome. And I heard a lot of people say that Jeff Jarrett didn't really add anything to this match as the referee, but
no.
But you know, he held his own. He did a solid job. But you know, it was just that after what we saw at Money in the Bank, we were expecting something just as good, if not even better. But unfortunately, we didn't quite get that. But it was still another very good match, though. 3.5, 3 3/4. That's the best I can do. So, not much more to say. MF sequel did not top the original. Money in the Bank, far better, even though this was another great effort.
Yeah, and the thing is, I got to give credit where credit's due to Jeff Jarrett. He did a very good job. He did an admirable job. He called it right down the middle. He was never, ever one side or the other in the entire match. So he was a non-factor. And I think that's what you wanted it to be. Let these two guys go out. Let these two guys battle, and the title was on the line. Yes, there was a moment where it looked like the Profits were going to win the belts. It was a close 2. It was like a 2.9. And we were like, oh. But at the end, the right team won. And we had a legit outcome. That's the big thing. There was no chicanery. The Usos won it outright. So we move on. Next up we had was the SmackDown Women's title on the line. Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey. Liv wins the match in 4 minutes and 35 seconds. Now, this match got severely undercut. And what we've now been told is that the Logan Paul match actually ran a little overtime. They were supposed to have, let me see. They actually ran over by at least a couple of minutes. So they undercutted Liv versus Ronda, getting it in about under 5. So this felt like a typical MMA style fight. Ronda dominated this match. Liv was very resourceful, trying to hang on. She knew she was way outmatched. She was way out of her league. But the thing is, she kept fighting, she kept scrapping, she kept battling. And the sequence at the end where Ronda got her on in that armbar, but it was a triangle armbar submission. And the thing was, what happened was she was able to basically Liv was able to leverage to get her shoulders down on the mat for the 1, 2, 3. However, right at the 1.5, Liv was tapping out from the armbar. The arm was extended, and I think it was at 1.5 to 2. You started seeing Liv tapping out. The referee never noticed. He was only noticing Ronda's shoulders. 1, 2, 3. Ronda flips. She goes full heel. That's perfect for her. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, you kind of did Liv a little dirty here by letting her win the match by that way. Don't you might have just diminished her run. Not necessarily. She's still the underdog. She's still got to work her way up. So obviously for me, it's better that they gave her this outcome. Let her win it, Dusty. Okay, win a Dusty type. Let them redo this again in Cardiff. You know the Cardiff fans would love to see Ronda, and they love to see Liv. So for them to do this one more time, Liv versus Ronda in Cardiff, Wales, I say sign me up and let's do this. So let's get the rematch. Let's do this one more time. Um, Look, worst fight of the night. Yes, the match could have been a lot better, but the story after this and what they can go beyond is going to be a lot better. Liv is not going to be a transitional champion. Thank God. We were afraid that she was going to lose the belt at SummerSlam. She gets to keep the belt a little while longer now, but you know the clock is ticking. We know at some point she will lose the belt, but I'd rather have her keep it now and keep going with it. But she is the ultimate underdog. And the thing is that I really feel like Liv had a tough match. That was a rough go, but at the end, she gets to keep the belt. And that's the most important thing. And the reaction she got, there was a social media post where she was being whisked away with the belt in hand, and the thunderous roar she was getting from that crowd at Nissan Stadium. She is over. The fans love her, and and I think they're probably really happy that she is still the SmackDown Women's Champion. Just as I feel happy that she's still the flag bearer for SmackDown. So Florio, it's yours. I'll give this about 2.
I don't think I can go quite that far. This to me was the worst fight of the night. I got to give this about 1 to 1.5 for the effort. Um, I mean, I can understand why it was short. I can understand that. I didn't even know that, but all right. The match itself had some interesting moments, but that was it. It was a little on the short side and didn't reach the same level of excitement most of the other bouts did. Therefore, I got to call it the worst fight of the night. Morgan did a good job selling her fear of Rousey when she got into the ring. Seeing Liv Morgan reverse an armbar into William Regal's Rings of Saturn was kind of fun. But the one positive thing that came out of this, Rousey finally turning heel. Right call. She was going nowhere as a babyface. Even though she had that nice moment at WrestleMania Backlash when she won the title from Charlotte. We were there for it, and that was a great moment. But other than that, no. So I can only give it 1.5 for the effort. Worst fight of the night. So there isn't much more to say except MF, the main event, and all I can say is this is going to rank up there. That's one of the greatest SummerSlam main events, and a main event that we are going to be talking about for many, many years to come.
Last man standing for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Roman successfully defends the title. He keeps the gold and he wins it in 23 minutes even. Florio, it is yours.
We've seen a lot of last man standing matches in our day, and I can honestly say this was the greatest last man standing match I ever saw. The greatest, wildest, craziest last man standing match of all time. And I don't give a damn. I'm doing it. This was a 5-star classic. I mean, and this ranks up there. This should definitely be in consideration for match of the year because this was unfreaking real. I don't even know where to start. Brock Lesnar drove a tractor with a front end loader on it to the ring. And he posed in the scoop as he gave his own introduction. And as Reigns waited, the Beast Incarnate jumped onto him to start the match. And these two always do a great job putting each other through hell, but this might have been their most chaotic. This was their most chaotic encounter to date. The crowd was on its feet the whole time. Yes, Theory, as expected, he tried to cash in, but got taken out by Lesnar almost immediately. Reigns and the Usos had to bury Lesnar under everything they could find to keep him down for the 10. The match was almost hard to rate because it was so random and weird. But from a pure entertainment perspective, that's why I'm pulling the trigger like I am. It delivered in a big way. The tractor lifted up the ring literally to send Roman tumbling out of it onto the floor. The Usos came out to attack Lesnar as expected, but Lesnar took them both out with ease before F5ing Paul Heyman through the announce table. And Lesnar jumping off the tractor was hilarious, even though we all saw it coming. The Beast tried to hop onto the barricade and slipped a little, but he didn't fall down, just hopped over it instead. Again, that humidity. One side of the area around the ring was eventually just covered in pieces of broken tables. Lesnar using the tractor to pick up Reigns and dump him in the ring was oddly entertaining. And Reigns had one of the best beat the 10 count moments we have seen in years. I don't care. This was a 5-star classic. And if I'm the only one on that's going to go that far, so be it. That's all I'm going to say on that. Unbelievable. It ranks up there. I mean, you can make an argument. This might now be, this could be the greatest, it's one of the greatest SummerSlam main events of all time. It's not quite there. I still think Brett and the Bulldog from 92 was the greatest. It's also my favorite, but still, I mean, from an entertainment perspective, the crowd perspective, and hell, give it up for Michael Cole and Corey Graves on commentary. They were fantastic during this. So they checked off all the boxes. So I think this feud is over now. And I think Brock Lesnar's on his way out because of the whole Vince thing. I don't know how they convinced him to work the match, but I'm sure it was Hunter. I'm sure it was Steph, maybe even Nick Khan. I don't know, but whoever it was, I'm glad it worked out this way. And now he can go off and do his own thing again. But as for Roman, he just had to go through his. I mean, that was his toughest threat to date with this match, but he's got an even bigger threat coming. And now it's on to Cardiff, Wales, Principality Stadium, Clash at the Castle. Labor Day weekend, September 3rd, special start time, 1 p.m. Eastern here. And I believe on that night, MF, I still believe in my heart of hearts, that's the night where Roman's reign of terror will finally end at the hands of Drew McIntyre, and he'll get the big moment he should have had at WrestleMania 36. So I've preached about that for the longest time, and I'm damn sure not going back on it now. So just another 5 more weeks, folks, and then after that, then Drew McIntyre brings it home. So that's all there is to say on that. 5-star classic. Wildest, craziest, maybe even greatest last man standing match that I've ever seen. So MF, I mean, Michael Cole and Corey Graves on commentary was one thing, but you and me, we would have put them to shame.
Yeah, this was insane. This was incredible. No, it was a great match, great main event. Yes, you can make an argument for 5. I definitely will. I definitely will not be mad if you did. But I'm gonna give it 4.5 because the 4.5 to 4 3/4. The only reason why is I kind of had a stinking feeling that the Usos were going to get involved. I had a feeling that Theory was going to get involved to try to cash in the Money in the Bank. I just thought there was a little too much of an overbook on this one. Even though, yes, Roman deserves the win. He got the big victory. He got the moment with the pyro at Nissan at the end of the night as the champion. Um, I don't know. Even me, I was thinking that maybe Brock should have won the title here. Um, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna be too mad about it. This was an incredible, incredible main event. So there's really nothing more to add. Overall review for SummerSlam: 8.5 out of 10. I'm going high on this one. This was an excellent, excellent SummerSlam. One of the best SummerSlams we've had. God, man, it's been a long time since we've said, maybe since Highway to Hell. I mean, that's how good this was. So, I mean, this was an excellent event, an excellent SummerSlam. Trips, first time doing a premium, a premium live event. You nailed this. You knocked this baby out of the park, man. Uh, this one was well done, and it was smooth. Yeah, there was a couple of bumpy roads in the show. There's a couple of moments where maybe you should not have done. You shouldn't really needed to do. At the end of the night, this was a successful SummerSlam, better than recent years, and the quality of the matches, the quality of the show, it was apparent that this had Triple H's fingerprints all over it, and this was a banger. 8.5 out of 10 for me. Anthony Florio, you have the final say.
Yeah, 8.5, maybe 9. I mean, because this was a fantastic SummerSlam. And what about 2002 MF? 2002, only the greatest SummerSlam ever. I mean, probably the best maybe in that regard since then. Even though there've been some good ones here and there over the last several years, but this is one of the better ones we've seen in quite some time. It ranks up there, and Nissan Stadium looked amazing. I told Bullock that during the chat last night, and it ranks up there as one of the best backdrops I've seen for a WWE event. To this day, still the greatest my all-time favorite backdrop was WrestleMania 31, because the weather, the backdrop that day was beyond perfect. And as far as this one goes, it's up there. It's in my upper echelon. There's no question about that. Maybe top 5, maybe top 10. I don't know, but it's up there. But Nissan looked incredible, and credit to the production team, who made Nissan look incredible. And that main event, that last man standing match, was an instant classic. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was the wildest and craziest last man standing match ever. You're not going to see a better last man standing match than that if you live to be 100 years old. I'll tell you that right now. And the opener was the second best fight of the night. Logan Paul and The Miz with the sleeper fight of the night. They surprised the hell out of me, especially Logan Paul. And a couple of good other matches here and there. And, of course, the surprise returns of Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Shirai. And the Edge was expected, but the women returns, those were bombs. I mean, we knew Bayley was coming back. We just didn't think Dakota Kai and Io Shirai were going to show up with her. And the first SummerSlam of the post Vinnie Mac era, Triple H, he did a great job. It's still going to take time. We're not there yet, but we're going to get there eventually. And who knows? Maybe we'll start it Monday night on Raw, or tomorrow night on Raw in Houston. So 8.5, teetering on 9 out of 10. Fantastic SummerSlam. It's going to rank up there as one of the greats of all time. So not much more to say. MF, let's put the bow on this, and let's set up the content for this week.
Starting off with Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio, tomorrow night, 11 p.m. Eastern. Then we got Wednesday Night Madness at 10 p.m. Eastern. Then, of course, TXN Sports World at 10 p.m. And then the Cerebral Smack Talk, 11 p.m. on Friday night. So that's our schedule for the week. That's what we got right now. For Anthony Florio, I'm Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody. And we will see you guys tomorrow night for Ridiculously Raw, the fallout from the SummerSlam. And, of course, Anthony Florio has his Tony's Take. So until then, good night. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.